Do you know why isn't it a tower?
No.
No, so the tower is because the water pressure.
Yeah.
Kuningan is the highland.
Yes.
Cirebon
Yep.
is in the lowland.
Yep.
So the water is coming to Cirebon by gravitation, you know.
I see.
But that's
I see.
not enough. The gravitation is not enough. So it's need like a reservoir. It's need a pumping.
That's interesting. Yeah.
At the night, so the water is because people like to use water in the night.
Yeah.
So it go to the tower.
I see.
And then when the distribution is not good enough, it transfer to the.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And at the time, and again, I think this you mentioned this in the article, is was, I don't know if it's true, but the claim bahwa itu water pump dan water feature yang paling besar di Asia Tenggara waktu itu, ya?
Waktu maybe dibangun. One of the biggest tower in Southeast Asia at the time. At the time,
exactly. Not now, of course.
Cirebon has two.
Yeah.
One in.
Oh, is that right?
We have two.
Yeah, I see.
So we have two towers. So it helps to distribute water to people at the time.
Interesting. Yeah. So I think again for me that was, and because it's now an iconic.
Yes.
You know, it's sort of you come into the city and you see the big welcome. Yeah.
So that's we are already arrived in Cirebon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So what others you have maybe some information or something about this?
So well, look, there's a lot of things that I know about from the family stories. Yeah. The other one was, and we've seen because my family also has lots of photos of that period.
Can you send some photos?
Yes,
it will be good footage for us.
I'll send you some of the photos that we have, and you can show them to all the
so people know what is the monumental project infrastructure.
Very interesting. The photos like Pasar Pagi, morning market.
So it's
very
like,
interesting.
The master plan, right?
It was a master plan. So he hadn't.
You already sent me.
Yes, I had that. Yes, and maybe people aren't aware of it because it was still in the planning stage. But it was this monumental mock-up and planning with the architects of doing a very large morning market that was going to. It was based on a lot of the architecture from Eastern Europe, so it was really interesting. At the time, there was a lot of this, socialist architecture for like what you'd call like architecture rakyat, maybe. So it really looked at how can we make sure that pedagang-pedagang itu yang punya suasana fisik yang sangat nyaman buat mereka.
Because it's a traditional market, so the architecture is is like from Eastern architecture. So it's called like rakyat, arsitektur rakyat.
And in fact, there are pictures of the mock-up, and there are pictures in Ghana of a similar building that's almost the same. Yeah, in Ghana.
Ghana,
I'll show you the pictures later. I'll send them to you. Yeah, very interesting.
It's very good.
So look, there was that. That was interesting. There was a lot of building of. There's photos of all the building of the asrama, because obviously at the time a lot more government was becoming bigger, and there needed to be asrama for polisi, for pegawai negeri, for mahasiswa dan lain-lain. Jadi there was a lot of building of asrama at the time.
The city start to develop at the time. So this is the second fact. I think I never think about this before, but at 1960, Cirebon is become one of the cleanest city in Indonesia. This is the source of article is from the senior journalist Nurdin M. Nur, that he interviewed the former major staff. The name is Oom Ambari.
Okay.
So that's the resource.
That's really great. I had heard that, but I didn't know that was true.
Yeah, we are still looking for. Where is Oom Ambari? I think good is if we can update the.
That would be great. Yeah.
So you have maybe information about. The second one.
Well, so all I know is what I sort of said earlier, and that is that the priority of his government at the time was really to make sure that there was a more hygienic public health and a clean environment. And in fact, that was, if you look at the period of the Sukarno era, public health became a very big priority in Indonesia. This is something that I don't think we talk a lot about, but there were lots of interesting initiatives because maybe sometimes we think of the politics and we don't realise that there was actually a whole lot of government reform going on that was very interesting, and one of them was on public health. Maaf ya kalau saya bicara terlalu cepat dalam bahasa Inggrisnya ya.
It's okay. And then you already 4 times search what he did at the period when he became the major at 1960 to 1965.
Yes.
Maybe what's your research finding about it?
Yang saya bisa simpulkan ya dari pembicaraan sama keluarga saya dan saya juga bicara sama bekas pegawai negeri di sini dan pegawai negeri yang masih aktif sama wakil dari masyarakat waktu itu. Saya bisa menyimpulkan bahwa yang saya katakan tadi, walaupun kan periode itu dianggap suatu periode mungkin penuh krisis ekonomi dan lain-lain, bahwa di kalangan pemerintahan waktu itu, terutama di Cirebon, itu banyak reformasi yang menarik sekali itu untuk yang disebut negara pasca kolonial. Saya melihat itu banyak kemiripan dengan contoh-contoh di negara pasca kolonial yang lainnya, yang yaitu suatu tujuan mereka itu untuk menciptakan modernitas alternatif dari Barat dan dari Soviet. Mereka mau yang yang betul-betul Indonesia, modernitas Indonesia. Nah, ini yang saya pikir waktu itu di Cirebon itu memang diterapkan. Tidak sempurna dan banyak masalah mungkin, tapi itu memang tujuannya yang saya lihat seperti itu.
Yeah, so that's maybe what you find on your research, like
Exactly. Yeah. At the time, many people, Western scholars, said, "Oh, Indonesia itu going backwards, ya.
Yes.
Hanya tradisi saja, tidak ada modernitas." Tapi saya lihat di bawah pemerintahan waktu itu memang ada keinginan sekali untuk mewujudkan suatu proses perkembangan, development, tapi ala Indonesia. Jadi beda dengan mungkin yang negara lain. Dengan waktu itu kan perang dingin, jadi ada model Eropa dan Barat, ada modelnya Soviet. Tapi di sini itu betul itu berakar
Indonesia.
Ya, khas Indonesia.
Iya. Tapi sekarang dunia berubah ya, jadi multipolar.
Sekarang sudah berubah ya, neoliberal sekarang jadi itu.
Ya, jadi multipolar, bukan.
Ya, betul.
Bukan kutub barat dan timur lagi, tapi sudah banyak.
Sekarang itu berbeda sekali. Jadi pelajaran yang kita ambil dari periode itu harus kita sedikit hati-hati terapkan ya. Tidak bisa hanya kita bilang itu masih relevan untuk saat ini. Ya, tidak seperti itu.
Ini kita menemukan di artikel kita ya, at 1962.
Yeah.
So RSA Prabowo is the city governance is building the traffic garden. Do you ever know about it? Or maybe your family tell you a story about it?
So my mother, when we were driving through, my mother-in-law, when we were driving through the town, she pointed out where the garden, the traffic garden was. It's now, of course, what do you call it, like a water park?
Cirebon Waterland.
Waterland.
Before the name is Taman Ade Irma Suryani, or we call it TAIS.
Yeah.
TAIS. Now it's already become Cirebon Waterland.
I see. That's I mean, again, very interesting. And the other thing she told me was there was a big public swimming pool here.
Big public swimming pool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where it was, but
I think there's
And that was during the
Do you
colonial
know,
period, right? That
Gragemo?
was the,
Do you know Gragemo?
Yeah, I know Gragemo.
Yeah, I think the location is before become the mall. So this is the public swimming pool.
fascinating, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it the center of the city.
Yeah. And some of the photos I've seen, it looked really beautiful and really like.
Do you have the photo?
I'll have to have a look. I've seen photos of it, but whether it's not, I don't know if it's in my family's collection or I've seen it just on the internet. Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where.
But I'll check. I will check.
Yeah, it will get if you have a photo.
Yeah.
So that's at the public.
Yeah. I'll check to see if I can find
So
something. There.
Cirebon has two public pool.
Yeah.
One in Bima.
Okay.
The name is Catherine Surya.
Okay.
The legendary swimming athlete from Cirebon.
Oh,
Catherine
really?
Surya,
I didn't know that. Okay.
And another one in
Yeah.
Gunung Sari, and now it's become Gragemo.
Okay.
I don't know which one.
So look, this is when I talked about like modernity, modernitas alternative. This was very interesting about that period because I've got like lots of again photos of the olahraga, like the focus on sports and the focus on the arts, music in particular. Of course, at the time you had the famous Darling, right?
Darling, yeah.
Like so, very very interesting period of cultural. Cultural flourishing at the time. It was, and again, sometimes the history I read from Western scholars, I don't know about Indonesians, but from Western scholars, does not include any of this about that period. And I think it was a very interesting period. Yeah.
So until now, you're still looking for another data about your family history.
Yeah, we just want to, as a family, want to see what, because my father, my grandfather-in-law, he passed away and really didn't talk a lot about that period. So, as a family, we just wanted to get to know what he did as mayor and what he was doing, and the more we looked into it, the more we realised with the water tower and the Saluran Air and the water garden, the traffic garden and so on, that there was a lot of things happening at the time.
Yeah, and one of the, I think is one of the monumental, his divide, we call it lingkungan or neighborhood lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, become Kejaksaan, Pacinan, Lemah Wungkuk, Pekiringan, Pekalipan, Harjamukti, Pegambiran, and now it's become the district. So Cirebon now has 5 districts.
Interesting. So that's from that period, is it?
Yeah. But not. Itu disempurnakan pada periode berikutnya.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, so it started in that period.
So from the 7 neighborhood, it become the 5 district.
I see.
From the Kota Praja to Kota Madya and become the Cirebon city right now.
So that was the other thing I felt about that period was that, and probably later on too in the 1970s and 80s, where the local government here had a lot of administrative consolidation. It was quite interesting the way they consolidated from the Dutch period.
So it's Cirebon already. I think we divide into 3 parts.
Yeah.
So when it become the Sultan or a kingdom.
Yeah.
And then transform when the colonialism.
Yeah.
And the pra-colonialism. And now maybe after 1960, it's already become what you call modernization.
Yeah. It's a very interesting period. I mean, of course, Cirebon. And I don't understand the very complex and rich history of Cirebon pre-colonial, pra-colonial itu. Saya kira itu suatu sejarah yang luar biasa sebetulnya, tapi
sejarah yang luar biasa.
Dan rumit karena
kita punya 3 keraton kan.
It's very confusing to understand how that whole history.
You need to read many books to try to understand.
Well, and the other thing is the babad, lots of babad, on that period.
Babad.
So there's a very rich again.
You ever try to read?
I've read some of them. Yes, the babad Cirebon. I try. I've looked at that the verse. and in translation, of course, I can't. It's in different language. Yeah.
Yeah, in different language.
Yeah.
It already translates. So
Yes.
Oh, you read the translation.
I read
right?
the translation. Yeah, there was a Dutch scholar who did the translation. Yeah.
So you now you come to Cirebon again.
Yeah.
So maybe you have some agenda.
So I come here just for 2 or 3 days. I'm staying in Bandung, so it's with the toll road now, the jalan tol ya, itu
Yeah.
cepat sekali, itu
Cisumdawu.
1,5 jam
Yes.
ya, dari Bandung. So saya datang ke sini cuman ya untuk semacam wisata, tapi saya juga ya mau ketemu lagi untuk menceritakan ini lagi.
To dig deeper. Yeah.
Dig deeper, yeah,
to dig
exactly.
deeper,
And maybe if there's if we can start a dialogue about that period to get more information from ex-public servants. The issue is at the moment, of course, itu kan tahun 60-an itu hampir tidak ada orang lagi ya. Jadi kalau kita
They're very old.
Kalau kita perlu very old. Jadi kalau kita perlu ada catatan sekarang kalau atau ada cerita sekarang, kalau enggak itu akan hilang sejarahnya.
Yeah.
Itu juga jadi suatu motivasi saya untuk periode itu. Kalau periode sebelumnya yang 50-an itu sudah nggak bisa lagi, ya kan? Orangnya nggak ada
So
lagi.
there's no eyewitness.
Tapi 60-an masih ada.
bisa. Should be there is some resources to us to give their eyewitness.
Yes, exactly.
Eyewitness.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what are you trying to convey to public about your family history?
It's more a personal thing for us.
It's a personal thing.
So just as a family want to know about a history that's important to the family.
Yes.
But of course, because he was a public figure, it has a public use, nilai publik ya, yang so as I said, I think Cirebon has a very rich history. Kalau itu bisa dirayakan, untuk apa lagi untuk sekarang kan saya melihat itu Cirebon sebetulnya itu kalau saya lihat itu semacam kota bersejarah. Dan kita bicara tadi ya bahwa kalau lihat di negara lain seperti di Vietnam, itu mereka melestarikan
So which city you can mention?
Well, there's a city in one example. There's lots of them, but one example is a city in Vietnam called Hoi An.
Yes.
Hoi An used to be called Fujian.
Fujian, okay.
It was a pelabuhan city.
And then it's become a heritage city.
It's a heritage city. It's UNESCO heritage city.
Yes.
So again, I think the ability to protect your history, showcase it to the world, and I think Cirebon has that potential.
Yeah, so Cirebon is, should be is become a heritage city.
Yeah,
should be.
Should be.
But
Yes.
It need to communicate.
Yes, yes, exactly.
The history is need written well.
Yes.
So people know.
Yes, exactly. I think if you can consolidate all the really good history that's been done, and in Hoi An they've done a lot of rehabilitation of they had the old town, Kota Tua, it's very nice, it's beautiful. And maybe in Cirebon, people can do that, but everyone has their own pathway to do that.
So what will you produce from your research findings? Maybe become a book or?
Yes, for now I will write a book about it. That would be the goal. For now, I just want to collect the information because collect it before it's too late. So the goal now is to collect information and, of course, to make it available for local researchers. Basically, not really for the family, but also to make sure that anything that we can collect, we give to the newspaper or to others, so that you can also have that benefit of that work that we try and pull together.
So we really hope that maybe the audience they know about something, they can contact us.
That would be really great.
They contact us, and then maybe we can elaborate our data or some fact. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That would
We
be
want to be truthful. We want to know what their experience is of people during that
So,
period.
sorry, I forget to ask you.
Yeah.
When you first know about that your grandfather-in-law is a major.
Yeah.
When first time you know about?
I knew in, I think it was either in 2010 or 2012. Cirebon
So-
waktu itu,
yeah.
waktu itu ada
At
anniversary.
newspaper. At
Yeah.
newspaper, yeah.
Yeah, itu namanya Pak Suhendrik.
Yeah.
He was maybe one of your colleagues or a former.
My college
Yeah.
reporter.
He was the one who
Interview.
contacted my mother-in-law, and that's when the stories came out about him. You see?
So that's the first time you
That's
know.
the first time from the newspaper. So we have a full circle here. Yeah? And now I come back, we talk together. So
Yeah. So that's one of our article.
Yeah.
To celebrate our city anniversary.
yes.
Yeah, so
What year was that? Do you
I'm a
know?
reporter, junior reporter.
But what was that? 2010 or 2012?
2010.
It was 2010. Yeah.
29 or 2010, I don't know.
So I came here. That was the first time I came to Cirebon with my mother-in-law. Yeah.
So that's
My wife couldn't come, so I had to accompany her,
Yeah.
and that was the first time I heard about all of these stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we are connected with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like, if people out there, the audience, yang penontonnya bisa, siapa saja yang ada info, tidak harus jadi pegawai, tapi kalau siapa
Yes,
saja
yang penting tahu.
yang
Jadi,
ada pengalaman.
Mr. Rod ini kan sedang melakukan bukan penelitian ya, katakanlah ini sebagai bagaimana dia mau menulis sejarah tentang keluarga.
Ya.
Yang kebetulan ternyata mertuanya Mr. Rod ini pernah menjadi wali kota gitu pada tahun 1960 dan sampai 1965.
Ya.
Nah, tentu kami berharap masyarakat yang mungkin hidup pada masa itu gitu, atau ada yang mengenal, oh iya ini saya punya saudara yang pada saat itu berusia sekian gitu. Dia bisa menceritakan gitu. Anda bisa menghubungi Radar Cirebon kalau punya cerita itu, nanti akan kita teruskan sama Mr. Rod. Kalau Mr. Rod kebetulan masih ada di Cirebon, mungkin kita bisa atur waktu untuk bertemu ya.
Bisa.
Atau bila tidak dalam beberapa hari ini ketemu, kita bisa jadwalkan di lain waktu.
Yeah,
gitu
exactly.
Ya. Jadi ini Mr. Rod sedang berusaha untuk mengumpulkan data-data tentang sejarah keluarganya ya. Kemudian dituliskan, apakah nanti jadi buku atau apa. Siapa tahu buku itu berguna, karena meskipun beliau menuliskan sejarah keluarga, tapi yang ditulisnya adalah wali kota yang punya figur sentral Cirebon gitu pada saat itu. Kurang lebih begitu ya.
Itu memang begitu, Pak.
Iya, kita berharap sih dapat contribute ya, banyak dari banyak.
Ya, ini buat semacam, saya melihat proyek ini sebagai, bukan proyek tapi kegiatan saya sebagai sumbangan terhadap kota Cirebon ya, biar ada orang tahu ceritanya, sejarahnya dan lain-lain. Begitulah.
So I surprised when you use batik when coming.
Ya, tapi seharusnya Mega Mendung ya.
Yes, it's okay. It's okay. So jadi datang dari Bandung ya tadi ya?
Saya dari Bandung, tadi ya. Dan saya harus mengakui kalau dari Bandung kan masih kota dingin.
Sejuk, ya.
Wow, di
Cirebon
ini panas.
Yeah.
Panas. Jadi saya kagum juga sama orang Cirebon. bisa bekerja keras.
Kagum karena bisa bertahan di cuaca yang panas.
Betul.
Okay. Maybe this is our last questions.
Yes.
Do you have a target to finish your research, or it just flow?
No. I think I'm getting more and more of a sense now of maybe when I first met you several years ago, still very hazy, tidak terlalu jelas ya. Tapi lama-lama saya sudah bisa membuat suatu gambarannya tentang periode itu. Apalagi kalau nanti ada info
Dari
tambahannya
masyarakat,
dari masyarakat,
That will be
itu
great.
bisa betul melengkapi itu gambaran itu. Jadi saya merasa dalam satu tahun ini saya udah bisa menyelesaikan ini yang mempresentasikan ini. Mungkin nanti kita bisa diskusikan bagaimana caranya yang paling bermanfaat bagi masyarakat di sini lah.
Ya, kami juga tidak menyangka ternyata artikel itu
Ya,
bisa sampai.
memang ya. Tapi ya seperti saya katakan tadi itu gara-gara yang
Dulu iya.
yang dari korannya
Dari koran pada tahun 2009 atau 2010 gitu ya. Jadi waktu itu kita menuliskan wali kota Cirebon dari masa ke masa. So the city major from period to period.
Yes.
Saya mendapat tugas yang lain.
Oh gitu.
Ya kebetulan Su Hendrik itu dapat tugasnya
Begitu.
RSA Prabowo.
Yeah. I see. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
We have task. I forget I wrote about somebody.
Yeah.
Mrs. Hendrik is wrote about RSA Prabowo.
Yeah.
So but we are updated the article on our online media.
Oh, fantastic. Interesting.
Our latest is 2019.
Yeah.
And it was updated at this morning.
Oh, fantastic.
I share you the link.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like to look at that. That'd be great.
Okay.
All right.
Rod, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Pak Yuda. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Mudah-mudahan masyarakat yang punya informasi bisa saling melengkapi. Jadi ini bukan hanya tentang menuliskan sejarah keluarga. Mungkin buat Pak Rod ini menuliskan sejarah keluarga, tapi buat publik ini menurut saya akan menjadi informasi yang berharga karena kita akan punya tambahan informasi mengenai sejarah di Kota Cirebon, dan yang mengerjakan Pak Rod jauh-jauh dari Australia bukan dari Cirebon. Jadi kita harap semua bisa kita saling mengelaborasi ya. You have a closing maybe?
Just to thank you, Pak Yuda, for a really interesting discussion, and also to thank also all the people in Cirebon, because whenever I come here, people are so welcoming and want to tell me their stories, and very thankful for that, and really feel a great sense of pertukarannya, like an exchange of views, and through that I think like we get back to the start of why I became interested. Australia and Indonesia, if we have these kinds of conversations, we can understand each other a lot better, particularly in a world like we're living in today, where we both countries need to collaborate and cooperate a lot more.
Yeah, we hope it. So we just separate by sea.
Yes.
By the sea.
Yeah.
We talk campur-campur, but we can.
Exactly.
We can communication with
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Rod.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Yuda. And
terima kasih pemirsa sudah bergabung. Nanti bisa hubungi Radar Cirebon di comment section boleh untuk menyampaikan informasi. Nanti kita akan komunikasi lebih lanjut. Terima kasih sudah bergabung di podcast Radar Cirebon. Sampai jumpa lagi.